Hi, Big Tractor Power fans. It's tillage time in western Kentucky, and I'm headed out to the field with a fleet of John Deere 9R and 8R tractors. The lineup includes 4 articulated four-wheel drive tractors and 2 fixed-frame machines ranging from 440 to 340 engine horsepower. These tractors are equipped with 7-shank 3-point mounted John Deere 915 V-rippers. This implement subsoils the ground 18 inches deep to break up compaction created from harvesting wheat and soybeans on the same field in the same year. The wheat is harvested in June, and then a second crop of soybeans is no-tilled in directly behind the combines, which is harvested in October. The soil becomes very tight in these fields from multiple passes by tractors, planters, sprayers, combines, and grain carts throughout the cropping season. The V-rippers dig down deep to loosen the earth, which will allow the roots of next year's corn crop to flourish as they soak up water and nutrients below the surface of the field. In this video, I would like to share with you a close-up look at the subsoiling operation, talk about some of the specifications of the tractors, as well as taking you for a ride in the cab of one of the 9R 440 articulated four-wheel drives. But first, let's head out to the field so that you can see and hear all this big tillage action. When fall tillage begins on this western Kentucky farm, it's all hands on deck for their big tractors. Let's take a minute to look at how these machines are used for hundreds of hours of work during the cropping season and why the subsoiling is so important after the harvest. Some of the tractors begin the cropping season in March, preparing the seedbed for corn planting. Here we can see one of the John Deere 8R 340 tractors moving into the next field with a 45-foot wide Kelly Diamond Harrow. Corn planting begins in late March into early April on this farm. It's important for the crop to go in quickly so it can be harvested in late August and early September to make way for the winter wheat crop that will follow the corn. The corn crop is planted with 60-foot wide John Deere 1775 NT 24-row 30-inch space corn planters. These big planters are operated by the farm's articulated four-wheel drive tractors equipped with Firestone 480/80 R50 triple tires. The 12 tires help reduce compaction in the field as the tractors carry 1,000 gallons of fertilizer in the tanks mounted on the front. The tires will also help with traction in the fall for deep tillage. The tractors used for secondary tillage ahead of corn planting in the spring are brought back into service in the month of June to help with the winter wheat harvest. Operating 1,000 bushel Kinsey grain carts to keep the Class 8 John Deere S780 combines on this farm, equipped with 40-foot wide draper heads, rolling non-stop. Following directly behind the combines harvesting the wheat are the same tractors that planted the corn crop using their triple tires to reduce compaction in the field as they no-till soybeans in to the wheat stubble using 40-foot wide John Deere 1795 planters, seeding 31 rows of 15-inch spaced soybeans. The winter wheat straw and stubble that the soybeans are no-tilled into help conserve water and reduce weed pressures as they grow over the summer. In late August, the farm begins harvesting its corn crop, and the articulated four-wheel drive tractors once again use the Kinsey 1,000 bushel grain carts to keep the combines rolling along with their 12-row, 30-inch spaced, 30-foot wide corn heads nonstop. In October, the farm plants its winter wheat crop for the next season following the corn harvest. They use 40-foot wide John Deere 1890 air drills that will no-till the winter wheat seeds directly through the corn stalks into the soil. October is a busy month on this farm. In addition to planting the winter wheat, the operation is harvesting the double crop soybeans that were planted following the winter wheat harvest back in June. The big Class 8 combines with their 40-foot wide drapers are back in the field, supported by the Kinsey 1,000 bushel grain carts operated by the farm's big John Deere tractors. As you can see, there's a lot of farm equipment traffic on the fields of this farm over 2 growing seasons as they raise 3 crops during that time period. The only primary tillage these fields see is every other year following the soybean harvest. Here we can see the farm's 2 John Deere 8R340 tractors. These 340 engine horsepower machines roll off the assembly line weighing in at 28,000 pounds. They're fully weighted up to 44,100 pounds, operating the John Deere 915 7-shank V-Rippers. The 915s operated by these 340 engine horsepower tractors are 14 feet 7 inches wide. They're equipped with 7 subsoiling shanks that are spaced at 25 inches. As the 915 V-Rippers work their way across the field, we can see how they subsoil. There's really minimal disturbance on the surface, leaving that winter wheat and soybean residue from the 2 crops harvested earlier this year in June and October. And we can just see how they work their way 18 inches deep, slicing through that compaction and opening up an area for water and nutrients to work their way down to the corn roots for next year's crop. The 915 V-Rippers used on the articulated four-wheel drive tractors are 17 feet 6 inches wide. They're equipped with 7 shanks spaced at 30 inches. The 9R articulated four-wheel drives are not weighted as heavily as the 8R fixed-frame tractors because they are used for planting and seeding throughout the growing season. That is where the 12 Firestone tires set up in the triple configuration on this 9R 440 come in handy. The tractor rolls off the assembly line in Waterloo, Iowa, weighing in at 45,980 pounds. It can be field weighted up to 62,000 pounds, but that would be counterproductive when the tractor is used for corn planting in the spring because the weight would compact the newly planted seeds. The V-Ripper is like a boat anchor behind the tractor, digging down 18 inches deep, fracturing the compaction and lifting the soil. The triple tires help the tractor to maintain an even speed across the field, digging in and pulling through. I'm up in the cab of the John Deere 9R 440 tractor here with the Firestone 480 80R50 tires, and these 12 tires give the tractor extra traction and flotation in the field, and that is really necessary. We're running here just at about 3.5 miles per hour with this 915 John Deere V-Ripper buried in the ground 18 inches. And it really shows how important it is to fracture that compaction after the harvest, especially with a field that was in wheat in June, harvested double crop beans, planted right behind the combines, and then harvested again in October. So there's a lot of traffic out here with planters and sprayers, combines and grain carts throughout the year. And having that extra traction with the 12 tires makes a big difference for this tractor, which is climbing a pretty good hill right now. We can see the auto steer here is guiding the tractor across the field for that next pass, and it has a perfect gap between the previous passes made by this 9R 440 and the other 440 and 410s, and they're coming in right behind this one. As the tractor approaches the headland to turn around for the next pass, it will encounter the most compacted part of the field, where all the cross traffic took place between the grain carts and heavy loaded semi-trucks during the harvest. The 9R 440 is powered by a 13.6 liter John Deere 14 turbocharged aftercooled 6-cylinder 24 valve 826.9 cubic inch engine rated at 440 engine horsepower. In tough field conditions like the ones presented by this headland, the engine will boost up to 477 horsepower. With the added traction from the triple tires and the braking power of the 915 V-Ripper, the tractor will power through this extremely tight soil. You can see right here why this subsoiling is so important for fracturing this compaction. The corn seeded on this headland next year would have a tough time putting out corn roots that would yield a healthy crop. The second 9R 440 subsoiling in this field is running alongside a pair of 410 engine horsepower John Deere 9410R tractors. These three machines are equipped with 7-shank 30-inch spaced V-Rippers. They're running row crop duals because they primarily run the grain carts during harvest season. They're narrowed up to run alongside the 40-foot draper heads and 30-foot wide 12-row 30-inch spaced corn heads. The duals are set up on 30-inch spacings to run through rows of corn, which is especially helpful during corn harvest to reduce stalk and stubble damage on the tires. These 9R tractors with the row crop duals are fitted with wheel weights which add to their traction during the heavy tillage process. It also helps when they're towing around the 1,000 bushel grain carts during the harvest and the 270 bushel 1910 John Deere commodity carts pulling the 1890 40-foot wide air drills during winter wheat seeding. I hope that you've enjoyed spending some time out in the field with these big John Deere 9R and 8R tractors completing the cropping season with subsoiling. I would like to hear in the comment section below the video if you work on fall tillage on your farm. Tell me about the tractor and implement that you use in your operation. If you have appreciated this video, I hope that you'll consider subscribing to Big Tractor Power YouTube, where there's over 2,000 videos of farm machines in action. If you would like to see additional tillage content from the channel, continue watching for a few more seconds to the end screen for a direct link